Hi, everyone. My name is Patrick Valdez. I'm with the Valdez Law Firm. I've been an immigration attorney for 17 years, and today I'd like to discuss with you what you should look for in an immigration attorney. First, schedule an appointment to speak with an immigration attorney. Be there on time. And when you get there, make absolutely certain that you're speaking with the lawyer, not a paralegal, not a case manager, not a case evaluator, a licensed attorney. It's okay to ask if the person is a licensed attorney. If you're paying for the consultation, you're entitled to at least an hour of that attorney's time. Two, when you're with that attorney, it's absolutely critical that the attorney goes through a thorough intake with you. And not just your name and your address and your telephone number, but your entire immigration history. If you have a criminal history, that attorney should make note of each and every time you had contact with the police. If you've been stopped by the immigration authorities at the border, it's important that those are noted as well. If you've ever applied for immigration benefits in the past, each application should be reviewed with that attorney, and that includes when those applications were sent, what you were applying for, and the information that was included in each of the applications. Your marital history should be reviewed as well, including marriages that occurred here in the United States and marriages that occurred abroad. If you've had any children, adopted any children, or had any biological children, they all should be identified as well, along with their immigration status. Once a thorough intake is completed, that attorney should outline various options you may have to achieve your immigration objectives. So if your objective is to become a U.S. citizen, there should be various options outlined for you. Should you apply? Should you submit an application for naturalization? Perhaps you've derived citizenship from your parents and you don't necessarily have to apply for naturalization. You are a U.S. citizen by birth or by deriving citizenship from your parents. You need to apply for legal permanent residency. There's a variety of ways that happens as well, whether it's through an adjustment of status here in the United States, or perhaps you have to immigrate through a consulate outside the country. Oftentimes, waivers are required if you have to leave the country and return with your legal residency, and the prerequisites for those waivers have to be evaluated. Normally, those waivers require a showing of hardships to qualifying relatives. Do those hardships exist in your case? That is very, very, very important. Also, reasonable timelines for the processing of these applications should be reviewed with you. There are various steps that usually take place. Unfortunately, the pandemic impacted the processing times for these applications, and it's important that the attorney highlights that for you so that you have reasonable expectations of how long it's going to take for you to achieve your objective. Sometimes, after a thorough evaluation, it's best to do nothing. For example, if you have an outstanding removal order or deportation order, and you've left and you've come back, it's probably better that you wait for some sort of changes in the law that will allow you to achieve your immigration objectives. Or if you have criminal convictions that have immigration consequences, oftentimes it's better to wait in applying for immigration benefits until those criminal convictions are dealt with. Sometimes, after an evaluation, the best advice to a client is simply to tell them to wait and to be patient. Or there aren't any options now, but there may be in the future. Or let's get your file, your immigration file from the immigration authorities, from the U.S. government, and that'll take several months to do, but once we have it, we'll have complete and thorough information. So when we move forward, we're not speculating as to the information the government has on you. Those are all options that should be discussed after an initial evaluation. Some red flags when you're talking to an immigration attorney that you should be aware of. Primary one is that if you're with an attorney that promises you the world, that leads you to believe that your case is very, very simple and just a matter of you paying him a bunch of money and he'll take care of everything, you should be suspicious of that. At the Valdez Law Firm, we empower our clients with information. We explain their options, we outline the risks that are involved with each application, and we allow our clients to make decisions that is best for themselves and that's best for their families. If somebody promises you the world, it's probably too good to be true. Most immigration cases require thorough research to confirm that the client is eligible for the immigration benefits that they're seeking. Nothing is going to happen overnight in the world of immigration. Immigration law is a very complex area. You're dealing with a government that isn't always as responsive as you want it to be. And it's very important that the client is aware that they must participate in achieving their objectives as much as the attorney has to. The client has to bring information to the attorney. The client has to provide documentation to the lawyer in order to submit applications for immigration benefit. The lawyer that says that he's going to take care of everything and you don't have to do much except pay him is probably somebody who's trying to control your expectations. Be aware of that. It's absolutely critical that the client participates in their case at all times and maintains communication with their attorney. What's very important is that the attorney you hire highlights any risks involved with an application for immigration benefits. So for example, if you are present in the United States and you have to immigrate from abroad, that final decision about you returning to the United States happens at the consulate. And it's important that the attorney explains that to the client. Often we have clients that are seeking a work permit and they're promised work permits without really explaining the process. There's a handful of instances where starting a case in front of the court may be justified. For example, if somebody has a qualifying relative that would suffer exceptional and extremely unusual hardships if the immigrant would have to leave the country, say a very sick child or a special needs child, or a spouse or a parent that would do without medical care if the immigrant would be required to leave the country. Those cases are not very common. But if somebody is simply starting a case in front of the immigration court to get you a work permit for a short period of time, you're jeopardizing your presence in this country. And it's important that the immigrant who's seeking a work permit understands what they're doing and the risks that are associated with the applications that they're submitting to the government. Once you have to appear in court and you have to go to trial, you have to win your case, showing 10 years presence in the country, 10 years of good moral character, and exceptional and extremely unusual hardships to qualifying relatives. The majority of those applications are denied. And although somebody can live here for a short period of time with a work permit, by the time they go to court and they lose their case isn't granted, they're not going to be able to renew those work permits anymore, even though they still want to live in the United States. An ethical lawyer explains what that represents. It's not as simple as just taking out a work permit under time. It's far more complex than that. Please bear that in mind. Also, it is against the law to file a frivolous asylum application. Bottom line, an attorney should outline all of your options, highlight any risks if they do exist, and give you timeframes as to what to expect from them. If you have any further questions or if you'd like to make an appointment with the Valdez Law Firm, please note them below or contact us directly. I'm Patrick Valdez with the Valdez Law Firm. Thank you for watching our video. We look forward to speaking with you.